Grand day, everyone. Hello. What's up? This is your soul brother, Jason Mancan, July 8th, 2023. And I want to talk about emotional avoidance and believing it's okay to do this while trying to intellectualize your life through a positive mindset or a spiritual mindset. I'm sharing because I did this for about 15 years before I started really recognizing and becoming emotionally observant of what my law of attraction was really showing me in every moment of my life, in every day of my life, which is God's messenger of truth. My path started when I was 19 years old, a little over 23 years ago. And I read the books. I read the spiritual development books. I read the spiritual development books. I read personal development, spiritual development, religious development, Eastern philosophies. I got into it pretty deeply on a positive intellectual mindset, which is okay. It's great. It gets you to a certain level of consciousness, intelligence. But eventually you will stagnate. And eventually you will keep degrading yourself physically and spiritually and emotionally at the soul level. You will degrade yourself if you constantly are writing out positive affirmations. If you're constantly thinking and saying out loud positive affirmations. If you're constantly running to energy healers, acupuncturists, massage therapists, Reiki healers, shamans, gurus, men's retreats, spiritual retreats, women's retreats, plant medicine ceremonies. If you are constantly running and seeking for things, which is fine because we want to keep exploring and experimenting and finding out what true healing is, because this is all part of our spiritual exploration and being our own spiritual scientist. But if you notice that you're running away from your true pure emotions while trying to intellectualize everything through a positive mindset or a spiritual mindset, and you noticed that you're still emotionally annoyed, frustrated, easily irritated throughout the day, if you notice that you're still feeling anger when you're interacting with your children, your spouse, your boss, your coworkers, me, if you're still noticing that you're interacting, like you're emotionally feeling fear of not paying your bills on time, fear of failure, fear of not becoming financially independent, financially wealthy, fear of not, being all of your full potential, fear of public speaking, fear of death, fear of being overcloaked or influenced in a negative way from spirits or from other people in the physical realm, fear of God, fear of the spiritual world, fear of being attacked by dogs, fear of drowning, fear of being slowly tortured, fear of your family being slowly tortured, fear of kidnapping, fear of having your home taken away, fear of not paying your bills on time, fear of not being able to create the business you want. See, when we're emotionally avoiding our anger, we will be emotionally avoiding our fears, and we'll never get down to the root cause of our grief and give ourselves emotional permission to fully feel all of these childhood emotions that was established in our childhood the moment we were incarnated in our mother's womb. We will bypass, run away, and avoid through positive mindset, through a spiritual mindset, we'll go to all of these different spiritual techniques, methods, and modalities, all of these spiritual exercises, all of these religious movements, all of these spiritual retreats and plant medicine ceremonies that we can all attend, men's retreats, women's retreats, and we're avoiding God's messenger of truth, which is our personal law of attraction, our personal soul dialogue that we can have with God and this multiverse, and we're avoiding that communication because we don't want to see it. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to hear it. And what we want to do is we want to live in the addiction of trying to feel good and joyful and happy and loving all of the time. And that is a sickness. That is a disease. That is an illness. Because if you're addicted to intellectually thinking all of the time that you need to feel joy and happiness and love all of the time, but you're not really genuinely and sincerely feeling it here, you, my soul brothers and sisters, are liars. Just like I was. Living in a physical facade, living in an emotional facade, living in a spiritual facade, a religious facade, living in a archangel facade, living in a light worker facade, living in a shaman facade, living in a guru facade, living in a public speaker facade, living in writing your books and wanting to be an author facade, living in wanting to be an energy healer, a Reiki healer, a massage therapist, but you're still living in facade and you're still lying. Because we haven't learned the divine fundamental truth of living in truth. Because that's what was taught to us as children. We were taught to sacrifice ourselves and to please mommy and daddy's addictions, attachments, and codependencies, to please their emotional injuries, to please their anger, to please their fears, and to please their grief. And we were taught this as children. So most of society is living in a facade, not dealing with their childhood tantrums. They're not willing to fully feel through their emotional wildness in their rage and anger and all of their irritations and frustrations and all of their annoyances that they were lied to and controlled and abused and emotionally attacked all of their lives. The biggest abuse is not physical abuse or sexual abuse or even financial or spiritual abuse in this earth realm. The biggest abuse to everyone is emotional abuse. And we have millions of children that have grown up as adults protecting mommy and daddy because they weren't physically or sexually abused. That's emotional codependency with mommy and daddy, with your siblings, with the system that we live in. So we justify and minimize mommy and daddy's unloving emotional abuse. Just because you weren't physically and sexually abused doesn't mean you weren't abused. You were emotionally attacked. You were emotionally punished. You were verbally punished. You were emotionally, energetically, vibrational, and frequency attacked. Not just from mommy and daddy, but from your television, from your school systems, from the movies, from the music, from these unloving frequencies that are bombarding us 24/7 the moment we were incarnated in mommy's womb. And that child felt all of these frequencies, all of these emotions. And so when a child is born, they instantly feel overwhelmed and exhausted by all of mommy and daddy's emotions. And then mommy and daddy, the environment and the system has taught them to suppress it and deny it and live in addictions, attachments, and codependencies. People pleasing. We were taught to commit slow self-suicide to work for it, to pay for it, and to be happy that we're committing slow self-suicide with poisonous foods, poisonous thoughts, poisonous drinks, poisonous jobs, poisonous works, and we were taught to pay for our own slow self-suicide. Then we get on their pills, their vaccinations, and their surgeries to kill us even slowly. It's a slow process of being addicted to living in the emotional and physical and spiritual pain, the social, economical, sexual, and financial pain. It's a slow addiction that we live in. And then we're taught to intellectualize everything, to philosophically process things from here and not be genuine and sincere in the heart, because we're trying to live in a positive spiritual mindset, emotionally denying and suppressing and avoiding the truth that's really inside here. And if we're going to continue to do this as a society, we will continue to support with our time, energy, money, and talents. We will continue to support unloving corporations, monopolies and governments, religions and spiritual movements, retreats, authors and books. We will continue to support with our time, energy, and money the military, violence, war, unloving movies, unloving TV shows, unloving marketing and advertising that is being pumped and bombarded with all of these unloving frequencies to the children, to mothers and fathers, to people all across the world. We will continue to support with our time, energy, and money all of the unloving interactions that we do to the animals, to the insects, to the soil, to our environment, to the ocean life, river life, lake life, all of the life, all through nature, the jungles, the air. We will continue to support with our time, energy, and money and talent to an unloving society that lives in addictions of power, control, and greed, prostituting ourselves for love, approval, for safety and security and protection, prostituting ourselves for money, for wealth, prostituting ourselves to be recognized, to be approved of. And we will continue to lie to ourselves and others if we're emotionally avoiding the root cause of our pain and only living in the effects of the situations that you and I are creating in every moment of our life. I hope this video gets to you. I hope this video makes you feel something different. Because in order for us to really assist in the healing of this world, you have to be incredibly honest with the highest emotional integrity with yourself and God about how really things are inside of you and what you really see and view outside of you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'm sure you and I will be chatting soon. Bye-bye.